The infamous trade in the 1996 NBA draft that sent Kobe Bryant, the 13th overall pick in that year's draft, to the LA Lakers in exchange for Vlade Divac forever changed the course of NBA history. Kobe Bryant went on to win 5 NBA championships with the Lakers while cementing himself as one of the greatest basketball players ever. To some, he is their GOAT, to others, he's in their top 3, top 5, or even top 10. But to countless around the world, he stands as a role model and inspiration. Though we wish Kobe was still with us after tragically passing away in a January 2020 helicopter crash, we continue to remember his legacy in 2026 and carry on the work ethic and dedication he instilled in so many worldwide. Now let's quickly revisit this 1996 draft and take a look at what the 12 players drafted before Kobe Bryant have been up to as we approach 30 years since this 1996 NBA draft. Hope you enjoyed the video. At number 1, we have Allen Iverson, definitely one of the greatest point guards of all time, was an 11-time All-Star, 4-time scoring champ, 7 times All-NBA, 3-time steals champ. He was a 2-time All-Star Game MVP, and he was also a 1-time MVP during the 2001 season where the Sixers made the NBA Finals and went against Kobe's LA Lakers. So yeah, obviously Allen Iverson got a lot of accolades, and like I said, one of the greatest point guards ever. You could almost kind of consider him a shooting guard as well, but he was definitely an NBA icon in a lot of ways. And so kind of what he's up to now, he actually did do an article with ESPN last year, kind of talking about how he sort of had to rebuild his life and sort of had some issues he had to work through, whether it was like alcohol and he had a divorce and things like that. And recently he actually was seen at the 2026 NBA All-Star Game. He met with former President Barack Obama. Yeah, as far as what I could find, that's what he's up to right now, and he was last seen at the 2026 NBA All-Star Game, at least the recording of this video. At number 2, we have Marcus Camby, definitely one of the better defensive players that we have seen, at least in sort of kind of this past generation. I would say currently it's more so like Draymond Green, Rudy Gobert, right? But kind of in the generation before, definitely I would say probably Marcus Camby. I mean, you look at some of his block totals, like he had a 3-year stretch where he had 3.3 blocks, 3.3 blocks, and 3.6 blocks, and then, you know, the season before, his first 3.3 block season, had 3 blocks, and you can see he was kind of ranked in some, you know, Defensive Player of the Year rankings throughout his long and very productive NBA career, and so he basically ended off his playing years with the New York Knicks in the 2013 season. So he was recently seen at the Knicks homecoming weekend for New York fans, where they have this kind of event. So seems pretty cool. They seem to bring like alumni together, connect them with fans, things like that. So definitely seems like a really neat event that the New York Knicks have been able to put on. But yeah, that's pretty much what he's up to now. He was also on a podcast in December 2024. But yeah, it seems like he's still been around the New York Knicks organization, kind of seen at some NBA games and events every now and then. At number 3, we have Sharif Abdur-Rahim. He had a pretty long and productive NBA career, played for the Vancouver Grizzlies for the first 5 years of career, and has career averages of 18 points, 7.5 rebounds, 2.5 assists, and 1 steal. So as far as what he's doing now, he is actually the president of the NBA G League, and his son was actually drafted by the Stockton Kings in October 2025. So he was originally named the president in 2018, and he's been in that role through 8 years. He's overseeing, you know, quite a few changes for the G League, as far as, you know, when they had the G League Ignite, and obviously now kind of adding the Mexico City Capitanes, which is Mexico City's G League team. So he's overseeing quite a bit. The G League has definitely grown and expanded a lot since he has been the G League president. So yeah, that's what he's up to now in 2026. At number 4, we have Stephon Marbury. After a pretty notable NBA career, he did play many years in China, and according kind of to this article, you can see that he does consider China to be his home, and he actually did coach over there in the CBA, where he played for quite a while. So he coached there for a little bit, and then he ultimately ended up coming back to the States in 2024. Then he became the chief brand officer of Chamelo Eyewear, and then it looks like currently he started a basketball league, if I'm not mistaken. You guys can see the article up here on the screen, but it's called Well Ball. So it looks like this is also with former NBA player Lance Stevenson. So he's done quite a bit with the game of basketball since retirement. But yeah, like I said, kind of had a 2-part career, right? Had a prominent NBA career, but then also really became just a well-known figure in China when he played for the CBA, then coached there. Now he's back in the States. But yeah, now obviously, like I said, it seems like he's starting this new league. So we'll see how that goes, but that's what it looks like he's up to now in 2026. At number 5, we have Ray Allen, obviously one of the greatest shooters ever in NBA history. I mean, you know, you consider he's basically right behind, you know, Steph and Clay, and, you know, you could put Ray Allen up there with like Reggie Miller. I mean, Ray Allen was the all-time leader in 3-pointers made, you know, obviously before Steph has just just gone nuclear, obviously, with the three-point shooting. But yeah, Ray Allen had a really long, productive NBA career, was a multi-time All-Star, was an NBA champion with the 2008 Boston Celtics and the 2013 Miami Heat, had one of the clutchest shots in finals history ever. I'm sure you guys all know what I'm talking about. Game 6, 2013 finals against the San Antonio Spurs. So yeah, Ray Allen, he was presented with a custom Hall of Fame jacket at the halftime of a UConn game at Boston's TD Garden. That was in November 2025. I remember seeing he was on JJ Redick's Old Man and the Three podcast before JJ became the head coach of the Lakers. He actually did get his bachelor's degree from the University of Connecticut. That was in March 2025. So it seems to be his most recent news, but yeah, that's what it looks like Ray Allen is up to in 2026. At number 6, we have Antoine Walker, very productive NBA career, 3-time All-Star, 2006 NBA champion with the Miami Heat, and was on the 1996-97 All-Rookie team. He mostly played with Boston, and then also kind of had a little bit of a stint with Miami as well, and then ended his career with the Minnesota Timberwolves in 2008. So, very productive scorer for sure throughout his career, but he's kind of made a name for himself now in his post-NBA career, an advocate for good financial literacy in the NBA. So, he's a great example of how to be financially literate, how to turn it around. Like I said, he got out of debt and now he's teaching others to do the same. So really inspiring story, really cool to see it, and it looks like that's what he's up to in 2026. At number 7, we have Lorenzen Wright. He had a pretty long NBA career from 1996-2009, played for the Clippers, Atlanta, Memphis, Sacramento, and the Cleveland Cavaliers, but he was actually murdered. Just a really, really tragic story, so I'm not going to get into that. You guys can see the screenshot up on the screen, but at number 8, we have Kerry Kittles. He most notably played for the New Jersey Nets and was a pretty productive scorer, but now kind of in his post-NBA career, sort of done a few different things. I did find a website where it seems like he's doing some sort of consulting and things like that, but then he also served as an assistant coach at Princeton University from 2016 to 2018, and then I found that out from a podcast he was on recently, which was called the Check Game Podcast. So yeah, kind of some interesting things that he is doing in his post-NBA career. And the last news I could find on Kerry Kittles was coaching at the first Basketball Without Borders camp in East Africa. So he did that this past summer in August 2025. At least that was announced then. That's what he's up to now in 2026, and that was the last information I could find on him. At number 9, we have Samakai Walker. His son, Jabari Walker, actually plays in the NBA right now. So as far as his NBA career goes, he played for Dallas, San Antonio, the Lakers, Miami, Washington, and Indiana. But yeah, it looks like he was on a podcast in December 2025 with Byron Scott, with Byron Scott's Fast Break podcast. Yeah, it looks like that's what he's up to now in 2026. Like I said, his son Jabari Walker is in the league. He's on the Philadelphia 76ers. So yeah. At number 10, we have Eric Dampier. He had a long and productive NBA career. He played with Indiana, Golden State, Dallas, Miami, and the Atlanta Hawks. And it looks like now he is helping to mentor and coach his younger son, Eric Dampier Jr., which he is a pretty prominent high school basketball prospect at the moment. So really cool. Another son of a former NBA player. And then also it was announced in January 2026 that Mississippi State is going to commemorate Eric Dampier and Jeff Malone jerseys at Humphrey Coliseum. Yeah, that's what he's doing now in 2026. Helping to coach and mentor his son, Eric Dampier Jr. At number 11, we have Todd Fuller. He did play 5 seasons in the NBA and then also spent some time overseas from 2001 to 2005. As far as more recent news about him, it was reported in 2016 that he did get his master's degree from North Carolina State. And then this article talks about how he coached a 7th grade basketball team, was an athletics director for a small private school in his hometown of Charlotte, and he also got a pilot's license as well. He's kept his life in a very low profile after his sort of, NBA and professional basketball career. So at least in 2016, it was reported that him and his wife started a family, and they now have 2 daughters and a son. And at least at the time, they were all under elementary school age. So yeah, he's kind of built a really nice post-NBA career, and he's actually working for Bank of America as a quantitative operations associate. Pretty cool to see after his NBA career, getting a master's, and now, like I said, working for Bank of America. And at number 12, we have Vitaly Potapenko. He is currently an NBA assistant coach. He's been a coach for many, many different teams. Currently, he's with JB Bickerstaff on the Detroit Pistons. Previously, he was with Memphis as an assistant coach under JB Bickerstaff and Taylor Jenkins. Then he was with the Cleveland Cavaliers, Santa Cruz Warriors, Dakota Wizards, Indiana Pacers, and the Fort Wayne Mad Ants. So yeah, that's pretty much what he's been doing after his NBA career. But as far as during his NBA career, he played from 1996 to 2007 with many many different teams: the Cleveland Cavaliers, Boston Celtics. He also played for Seattle as well before they went to Oklahoma City. And he also played with Sacramento. So yeah, that is what happened now to all 12 players drafted before Kobe Bryant in the 1996 NBA draft. Pretty interesting to see how, kind of these guys' careers and sort of just lives have panned out now that, like I said, we're 30 years after this 1996 NBA draft. Yeah, just very interesting to see. Let me know if you guys may want to see similar videos to this. These videos kind of do take a lot of time, production, editing, and things like that. But yeah, if you have any ideas for this series, let me know down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.